we're joined by Mark Cancian himself, who is a retired Marine Colonel, and also joining us is Major Glenn Ignazio, a retired U.S. Air Force Special Operations Commander. I'm going to start with you, Mark, because we were just quoting you. Do you think Pete Hegseth has what it takes to do this job?
As we've heard, he has excellent military credentials as a junior officer, and he also has excellent educational credentials. He went to Princeton and Harvard, but he lacks two critical qualifications. One is high-level national security experience, and the other one is running large organizations. And it's going to be extremely hard for him to try to impose his views on this mammoth bureaucracy, this mammoth organization. As you said, it has a total of about 3 million personnel when you include the reservists and the civilians,
right.
The budget. It's going to be very difficult.
Major, the headline in Politico this afternoon was, "Who the F is this guy?" And then it goes on to say that the pick of Hegseth, quote, shocked Washington, which had expected the nominee to be a seasoned lawmaker or someone with defense policy experience. What do you make of this pick?
Yeah, I can see how it flipped things upside down. And I'll address these things non-emotional, non-political, like I always agree with you, is, I completely agree with the Colonel, is, him, Pete and myself are the same rank. And my experience is much more global than what he did, but that's not the competition. My point is I might be able to handle, and he might be able to handle, an assistant secretary type of position, which is much more detailed and focused. But when you're talking about making policy, planning, training, deployments, these are policy makers. That is what the Secretary of Defense position is as the advisor to the president. So with incredible respect for what he's done in the combat experience, completely agree. But I'm telling you from a operational perspective, which is what we focus with at my rank and what his rank is and his exposure, it's not at the level of creating a policy. And that would be my biggest concern. Other than that, I completely respect him as a warrior in the United States military.
Yeah, nobody, listen, he did remarkable service, and that's fantastic. And yes, he's got 2 Ivy League degrees, although lately people aren't thinking so highly of many of these Ivy League colleges. But Major, the defense secretary commands the entire military. He's second only to the president when it comes to the defense of the United States of America. If confirmed, Hegseth would go from hosting Fox News Weekend to overseeing this massive budget and millions of people. It's a huge job.
Yes, it is. And honestly, to give you a little bit more, and also the viewers at home, is, this type of operations in this level, this rank, his experience, so forth, is, if you needed to take, just as an example, a strike on Iran, those particular details of how you execute it and everything is something that he would be knowledgeable about. However, how does that geopolitically affect China, Russia, NATO, and the globe in complete perspective is something that is lacking. And you do not get that unless you get into those upper echelons as a general or other policymakers, because that's what you have to focus on, not the tactical events, which is what he addresses. And I believe that's one of the problems he may face in his challenge on the Hill.
Colonel Pete Hegseth was actually floated as the Secretary of Veterans Affairs during Trump's first administration, but many veterans groups opposed him. First of all, and I just want to read actually one quote from the founder of the Independent Veterans of America, who just said today about this nomination that Hegseth is undoubtedly the least qualified nominee for a defense secretary in American history. Is he wrong?
Well, we're going to let the Senate decide that. But there's no question that he's going to face tremendous challenges. And the only way he's going to get through this is if he hires a team of experts. He'll need a deputy who knows how to run the Pentagon. He's going to need other deputies who have connections on Capitol Hill. But his background will be inclined to hire people like himself. And if he does that, he's going to be in a huge amount of trouble.
We shall see. And I'm sure, again, that's why these Senate confirmation hearings are so terribly important, so that you can actually test these people to make sure they, in fact, can do these really, really important jobs where our national security is actually at stake. Major Glenn Ignazio and Colonel Mark Cancian, thank you both so much for being here tonight. Appreciate it. And thank you for your service. Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven unbiased coverage.